Hi guys, I hope you're all really well. So I'm going to show you a beautiful side dish now. It's a fantastic slow roasted tomato salad with orzo pasta. It's really fresh, it's really light. This is from my new cookbook, Together. And Together is about togetherness, something that we've all learned about or not about in the last year, since lockdown. So this is all about meals to make new memories. Each chapter is a whole feast, a whole meal. And this dish here, here's the orzo pasta there. This is a fantastic side dish from a chapter that I absolutely love called Elegant Simplicity. You can cook this as a menu, or you can take individual recipes as they are, because they're really nice recipes. Now, the great thing about the recipes is I've written them in a new style, right? And this style is I write them in a way so you can get ahead of the game, so when your guests arrive, you're not stressing. So, let's do this beautiful salad. Get yourself the ripest tomatoes you can get your hands on. Try and get them on the vine. So in with the vines and the tomatoes. So this is 1 kilo of tomatoes here. In here, the things that are going to make it delicious are some seasoning, salt and pepper, like that. There's a secret ingredient, some beautiful harissa. And I'm going to put a nice teaspoon of this in here. Now it's not hot, it's very gentle. We're going to go in with a nice little kiss of extra virgin olive oil, a little splash of red wine vinegar, and we're going to use 2 more things. Garlic, so just keep the skins on and just put a bulb in like that. In we go. And then last but not least, I've got some lovely spring onions. Just trim them off both ends, give them a wash, and these go in like that. Mix it all up, and this is like the perfect seasoning. Leave the vine on, right? First tip here. The vine will give you that kind of fragrance of the smell of tomatoes in the greenhouse. So with these tomatoes, they're going to go in the oven for 1 hour. We're going to slow roast them to really concentrate the flavors. So that'll go in the oven at 150 degrees Celsius, which is 300 Fahrenheit. All I've got to do now is cook some pasta. Now, this is orzo. Let's have a little look at this. Orzo is a shape of pasta. There's 500 grams there, and I'm simply going to put that into some boiling salted water. Now, the packet says cook these for 12 minutes, so I'm going to cook it for 10 minutes, okay? I want it slightly al dente. Now, when that's 5 minutes in, what I'm going to do is get some frozen broad beans. Then I'll refresh them both in a colander under cold water, and I'll show you what to do next. So the pasta been beautifully cooked. I've run it under cold water so it's not cooking anymore, and that'll hold beautifully. With the broad beans, look at the colour. It's such a beautiful bean. And then if you want to, only if you want to, just pinch the skin and squeeze the bean out like that. Do I like eating them like that? Absolutely. They're delicious. But if you can be bothered and if you want to, you can peel them. That bit's done. We've had an hour in the oven here. The room smells absolutely amazing. And look what you get after an hour. It really is something very special. You can see how the tomatoes have just sort of confied almost in themselves. So all I'm going to do now is shake off these little vines like that. We'll take out the spring onions and just put them on a board. And we'll also take out the garlic. So just shake these tomatoes off the stalk like that. I want to push this through a coarse sieve. Reason being is I want to lose the tomato skins, right? Your trusty sieve is very helpful, and we just simply put the tomatoes in there. Everything goes in, and then I'll use the spoon just to squash the tomatoes. The juice will flood out. We'll just keep pressing it until it's literally just pips and skin on this side of the coarse sieve. It's going to be phenomenal. Now back over here, we've got 2 things we want to think about. The garlic here, just squeeze it out of the skins. Fork it up. Then I'm just going to use a knife to slice up the spring onions, and then let's get that into the sauce. So stir in those beautiful roasted spring onions and the lovely creamy garlic. Then I'll go back in with the gorgeous broad beans and the orzo, and then I'll turn the heat up. Mix it up. When it's cooled down a little bit, add some beautiful fresh herbs. Things like mint, things like basil, dill, fennel. And what I like to do is put most of the herbs in there for flavour, and then save back some for sprinkling on top later. So get those lovely fresh herbs in there, really mix it up beautifully. I love it, the smell is amazing, it really is. A bit of seasoning needed. I'm going to give it a little kiss of nice cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. Serve on a platter, in bowls, whatever you like. Look at the colours. I'll take some of those herbs and just sprinkle them over the top. A little optional extra here, because this is just going to be a salad today. A tiny bit of feta cheese. There you go. My slow roasted tomato and orzo salad. Let's have a try. It is so fragrant. So there you go, guys, my orzo and tomato salad. I hope you love it as much as I do. Enjoy. Hello, you lovely people. I'm going to give you an epic, satisfying veggie bake. It's from my new cookbook, Together, and in this dish, we get 5 of our daily fruit and veg in one portion. So let's get going. 3 onions. I've peeled these up. Just finely slice the onions like that. In the casserole pan, add yourself a nice little slug of olive oil. I'm going to add the onions in, and we want to get the sweetness out of these. Guess how many garlic? 3. Right, so we'll finally slice some garlic. Pan, oil, garlic, onions with pepper, a little seasoning with salt. I'm going to use coriander. Guess how many teaspoons? 3 goes in. Also, what I'm going to add is tapenade. 3 heaped teaspoons of tapenade goes in. The next thing I'm going to do is start kind of scalding and toasting these veggies in a dry pan, no oil. Cut the sweet potato carefully in half and basically chop it into 3 centimetre chunks. So we get these going in the pan. And as these get done, I'll add them into here and then replace them with the next vegetable. Just give it a nice little toss like that. So I'll cut these courgettes exactly the same size as the sweet potato, 3 centimetre rough chunks. So if you have a look at the onions, you can see they've shrunk down massively. That means you've concentrated the flavour. The sweet potatoes go in, and we go in with the courgettes, and we do exactly the same. In the meantime, we'll get our peppers out. The way I prep them is just get my thumb, push it down where that stalk is. We'll get rid of the seeds. With the peppers, exactly the same, 3 centimetre chunks. Then on the mushrooms, we're just going to take these off and break them. These courgettes, they're charred. They'll go in, and to replace those, we'll go in with the peppers. So look, all the veg is in there now. You can see how it's kind of reduced in volume. This pan here, just wipe it clean. That's good to go. And what we're going to do now is introduce the wet stuff. So we're going to go in with some lovely tin tomatoes. Just put them into your pan. I put them in my clean hands and I just crush them up. And what you do is you get a nice kind of broken up tomato. Fill up 2 of these tins with water. And I'll simmer that now for about half an hour. So here's the stew. It's had its half an hour simmering. It's all cooked beautifully. It's seasoned up good and it's cooled down. Let's put it together now. It has got that kind of vibe of a lasagna, but instead of pasta, we're using phyllo pastry. Get a nice tin, and I'm gonna get a herb. I'm using oregano, and I'm gonna dip that into oil, like that, almost like a brush, and I'm gonna lubricate this tin. Just push the phyllo into the corners, like this. All but 2 sheets of phyllo we're gonna put in and around. So just take 3 or 4 sprigs of the oregano, like that. This I will save to put on the top at the end. So first layer, 300 grams of basmati rice goes in, uncooked. We're also going to go in with 1 tin of drained beans. I'm using butter beans, and then we're going to go in with our veggies here. In we go. So push the veggies around. I'm going to take 1 or 2 layers of phyllo, just lay them over like that. Then take the little edges and kind of tuck it in to bed, right? And that's going to be a beautiful thing. What I might do is just use that oregano and the oil again. So we're going to cook this at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit. Let's get that in the oven. I tend to put it down the bottom. So our epic, satisfying veggie bake is about to come out of the oven. It's looking great, smelling great. I want to show you the easiest white sauce ever. I use 1 tub of gorgeous yogurt, 500 grams, and get that in a bowl. Then 3 eggs go in, lovely free-range eggs, and then 100 grams of feta cheese, break it up, fairly chunky. We're just going to beat this up, and as soon as the eggs, yogurt and cheese have mixed, that's it. It's that simple. So now's the fun bit. Let's get that incredible bake. Okay, golden, smelling amazing. Get your little spoon, and I want you to break it. And you're creating all those amazing little shards. And then you simply get your incredible white sauce and pour it over. Oh my Lord, it's going to be so good. Take the spoon and just push it to the edge. And then the rest of this oregano, we can just sprinkle on top. So this goes back in the oven now, still at 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, but we're going to put it in the middle of the oven for about half an hour to 40 minutes until this is gorgeous and golden and lovely. So let me show you this beautiful dish. It's ready. It smells absolutely amazing. Look at that. gnarly, golden, gorgeous, and it's got layer upon layer of texture and flavor. I like to let it sit for about 10 minutes. Let me show you how to portion it up. Just go to the middle and cut quite accurately all the way down to the bottom. Get your little fish slice and then pull it out. Come on. And that's all yours. A beautiful, generous portion of our humble, exciting, satisfying veggie bake. That in the middle of the table, nice big old salad, glass of wine, happy days. Let's try and get a little bit of everything. Is absolutely joyful. It's super, super good value to make. You can feed 8 people really generously and give them something that they've never, ever had before. Enjoy. I'm going to show you how to make the most delicious reverse puff pastry pizza packed full of veg. This recipe is from my brand new cookbook, Veg, and it is so easy to put together. It all happens in here, in a tray. Well, we're going kind of Provençal with the veggies, so courgettes, peppers, an onion, and 250 grams of lovely cherry vine tomatoes. And what I want to do is just kind of clank everything up. Not too small, otherwise you're going to lose the veg, but also so it's nice sort of bite-sized pieces. So a centimetre slice on the courgette. With the onion, just peel it and quarter it. And then in the tray, just kind of click it into little petals. It cooks really nicely. So this dish for me is a real cracker. When you want to put something together that's really easy, this is the one. You can buy these amazing rolls of puff pastry, which, you know, it's all rolled out, it's all done. I mean, look, I love making homemade pastry, but puff pastry is a real thing. It's a real ritual. It takes loads of time and space and effort. And to be honest, most people haven't got time for that. Then with the cherry tomatoes, try and get different colored ones if you can. Simply cut them in half. So this recipe is one of the recipes from my new cookbook, Veg. This is a book that's really close to my heart. I wrote it about 8 years ago. And then in the recent years, when people have become so much more interested in veg, plant-based cooking, I've brought it back and I've re-edited it, rewritten it, reshot it. You know, I'm a meat eater, I eat fish, and I think it's amazing that, you know, you can have a delicious meal that feels totally complete, that you're missing nothing. You know, the book's packed full of good stuff. If you want to have a little look, hit the link. And have a look at the book and have a look at the contents and the stuff that I'm doing, but I'm really proud of it and I hope you like it. With the veggies here, what we want to do now is amplify flavour. So there's a couple of things you can do. First, a little season up with salt and pepper. I'm using oregano, a brilliant, brilliant herb. And what I want to do is simply take it off the stalk, give it a little twist, just to kind of bash and bruise up the oils. And then I want to just drizzle on some nice olive oil and give it a little dress. So give it a nice little mix up, all the seasoning, the herbs and the oil. And what we want to do is slow roast this, and it will reduce in size, but it will absolutely amplify in flavour. So we're going to roast at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit. Look at the colours, amazing. Super easy. And then after 50 minutes, I'll show you what to do next. So it's had 50 minutes and it smells incredible. Have a little look at that. So the next part is really, really simple. We've got ourselves some beautiful all butter puff pastry. When it cooks, it goes like that. And it gives you this most incredible, crispy, crunchy, luxurious texture. So of course, normally with a pizza, it will be a dough that you have to sort of spin and turn, but we're cheating. So what I want to do is get the knife and just push the veg right into the middle like that, because what we want is extra delicious, crispy edges and sort of nice packed veggies in the middle. I'm going to take the puff pastry, it's already rolled out for us, so easy. Drop it straight on and then like tuck it into bed and literally push it in, and that is going to be incredible. So this goes back in the oven for about half an hour until this pastry has gone golden and crispy and delicious and that pan's hot. So I'm going to put this back in the oven and I'll show you what it looks like and I'll show you how to finish it. And have a little look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And you can see how golden and puffy and crispy it's got. Get a little spatula or spoon and just go around the edges like that. Just push in so it goes underneath. Get yourself a nice board or platter, put it on top, then get yourself a cloth to hold the edges. A little good luck. Count to 3, 1, 2, 3, and flip. Give it a nice little tap. And you're gonna get the most incredible reverse pizza. Here we go. Oh, come on! Look at the crispy edges. full of colour, absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna take some gorgeous mozzarella, bust that open and get little bombs of the mozzarella and stuff it in between the veggies. A few lovely, delicate basil leaves, tomatoes, basil, mozzarella, what's not to love? And actually what's nice is as the seasons track throughout the year, you can change up your veg. Now, last but not least, get yourself some beautiful, sticky balsamic vinegar. And I want you to go a little bit of Jackson Pollock. Just have a little drizzle up, and there you go. A flavour combo that's gonna slap your taste buds around the face. Enough talking, let's have a little slice. Boom, brilliant with a salad, glass of wine, crispy, colourful, and delicious. And what's nice is that residual heat from the crust will start to slowly melt the mozzarella, so it's half cold, half melted, half oozy, and then it's gonna half get in my mouth, but not for half long. Good times. Eat it like a normal pizza. Oh yeah, pure pleasure. And I'll be honest, normally I eat it with a knife and fork, but it's quite nice to go a little bit filthy. So guys, if you want the recipe, just click the link. Check out my new book, Jamie's Veg. I'm really proud of it, and I hope you enjoy it. Take care. I'm going to show you how to make the most delicious Greek Cypriot-inspired pasta. It's so good. It's really quick. It's a one-pan wonder, and it's a recipe from my new cookbook, 5 Ingredients Mediterranean. This is simple, 5 ingredients obviously, but all of that energy from the Mediterranean, the colours, the flavours, one of the best cuisines in the world. And of course, there's so many countries. Now, one of them is Cyprus. I used to go there as a kid. One of my good friends, Georgie Hayden, gave me the inspiration for this dish because she comes from Cyprus. So one of the things in this book that I really love is the non-Italian pasta dishes, which I know sounds really weird, but without getting into too many arguments, the Mediterranean has had pasta for thousands of years. This is orzo, so it looks a little bit like rice, but it's not rice, right? It's very small pasta. You can get it really easily now in supermarkets. Not all of them, but it's definitely out there. So we're gonna use this pasta. I'm also gonna give you a hack to sort of fake this pasta if you can't find it, right, with spaghetti. I'll show you that in a minute. So we've got pasta, garlic, we've got parsley here, which you could swap out for any herb you like, marjoram, thyme, basil. We've got the halloumi here, which all my kids love at home. Really, really nice, sort of squeaky and fresh and salty. Then we've got some tomatoes here that have been on the windowsill, nice and ripe. Let's get cooking. So like I said, it's a one-pan wonder. So get yourself a nice wide casserole style pan. We'll whack that onto a medium heat to start off with. And first job actually is a little preparation on fresh pasta. Now first up, you can use tinned tomatoes straight away. 2 tins of tomato would be beautiful, but I think what you get when they're on the vine like this, they don't just taste good, they smell good as well. So what I'm gonna do is get some nice ripe tomatoes. I've got 600 grams of tomatoes here, just cut them in half like this. This is a little hack for making a very simple, delicious sauce. Instead of using tinned tomatoes, which is also delicious, it's using a standard box grater like this. And what I do is go on the fine side, not that side, this one here, right, that you'd grate cheese on. Take the half of the tomato and just gently rub it, and don't cut yourself, right, just gently. Now, if you see, down the bottom, you're gonna see pulp and juice coming out, and on the top, you're gonna see a separation of the seeds and the skin. The freshness is another level. Right, so look at that, right? No seeds, seeds. So that's the technique. So I'm gonna do that to all of this. Let's have a little clean down. So the tomato sauce is done. This pan is getting nice and warm. I'm gonna put a couple of tablespoons of olive oil into a pan, and I've got 2 cloves of garlic. So this is a really simple pasta sauce, but the technique starts to get really interesting because we're not going to boil the pasta. We're going to cook the pasta in the sauce. Get your garlic in there. You don't want to cook the garlic too quickly. At this point, I've got half a bunch of fresh parsley. It could be basil, it could be oregano, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to finely slice the stalks, which are really sweet and delicious. Don't waste those. And as that garlic just starts to colour, I'm going to put in the stalks of the parsley. If you wanted to make this spicy, you could, but that would be a 6th ingredient. So 5 ingredients, I'm keeping it simple, keeping it fresh. I'm now going to go in with the beautiful fresh tomatoes. Look at that. Look at the colour. So now I'm going to turn the heat up and just bring this to the boil. And what I'm going to do is put some water in here to roughly the same volume as you had the grated tomatoes. So in we go in with the water. And what you want to do is bring that to the boil. So I'm going to finely slice the parsley using the cross-chop method, so fingers flat at the end, and just keep going round until it's nice and fine. So here, we've got 200 grams of the orzo, right? So you can see, if you look closely, it looks like rice, but it really isn't. It's got more angular sort of cuts on it. But if you can't find it, I want to give you a little hack, right? Because you'll get a very, very similar effect. Get a tea towel, get some spaghetti, and just steal a little bit, like that, okay? Roll up the pasta, like this, and very simply, take it and just run it off the side of a surface, like that, okay? And then what you get is your own homemade fake orzo, okay? So it's a nice little tip. Let me just mop that up. So look, not a bad little fake, right? But even though it's, also it might feel posh, it's just flour and water, right? Now, as soon as this has come to the boil, let's let it rain also. Give it a little stir. I think it's important to give it a light seasoning now, so it cooks into the pasta, like that. So some salt. Go in with some pepper. So you can see this is boiling nicely, and I want to cook that on a medium, sort of gentle simmer, right? Not too fast, not too slow, with a lid on, stirring regularly for about 12 to 14 minutes until it's nice and tender. And then I'll show you how to season it, finish it with the halloumi, and also adjust the texture. Smells good. While that's cooking, please click the like button and give us some love, and don't forget to subscribe. Oh, and remember to turn on that notification bell so you know what's happening. Now, back to the recipe. So this has been cooking now for about 11 minutes. Look how the pasta's absorbed the sauce. Really beautiful. And there's so many things you could do with this. You could put tuna through it, you could put olives through it, more herbs through it, different cheeses through it. You could, use different vegetables, chopped up jarred peppers. So this is a beautiful principal recipe, but this one, simple and gorgeous, 5 ingredients. So the fun bit is now. Let's just try a little bit of orzo. Beautiful. I'm going to turn the heat off. Remember, if it's a little bit wet now, that's perfect, because it's going to carry on sucking up the beautiful moisture. I'm going to go in with this lovely chopped parsley. And now, the real twist in the tale. Like when I tried this for the first time, it really blew my mind. So I've always bought halloumi, the family love it. I've fried it, I grilled it, but never in pastas, and it is amazing. So about 40 grams you use just to put through it, and then just a little bit on it, and it just melts in the most incredible way. So I guess when you grill it or fry it, it's a bit bouncy and a little bit squeaky and delicious. But when you grate it like this, it oozes into the pasta, but kind of holds its shape a little bit. So look at the colour, it's really, really nice. You might want to adjust with just a little bit of water, just to let it down. You want it to be loose and you want it to be elegant, really important, not dry and not claggy. Just stir that through, look at that ooze. If you've got some nice extra virgin olive oil, just kind of stir a little bit of that through it, just to give it that beautiful shine. So let's have a little go here. Look at that texture. Imagine doing that for your friends and family. If they love like a classic tomato pasta, this is like that, but fresher, more surprising. The halloumi has got that lovely salty tang that's so good. If you wanted to hit it with a little chili, of course you can. But look at that. Beautiful. Just finish it with a little olive oil, like that. Hot and steamy. I'm just going to finish it now with just a few bits of parsley, just to tell the story, what's going on. You can change up the herbs if you want. I'm going to go to the fine side of the grater and just do nice long strokes of halloumi. And then the only thing you've got to do is find a fork and tuck in. Look at that. Beautiful. It's so good. So simple. It's one of those recipes that you could do time and time again. I think there's a nice technique in there with box gratering those fresh tomatoes. So nice. 5 ingredients, simple, delicious, comfort food. And that is one of the recipes from my brand new cookbook. 5 ingredients, Mediterranean. Please have a look, just pick it up, flick through it and see what you think. I hope, I know, you're gonna love it. Take care. Hi guys, hope you're well. So we are gonna do a delicious expression of sausages. You're gonna love it. We're gonna do it with a gorgeous mash on a little flatbread. Really, really nice. This is my new book, Together. We've got all kinds of different chapters, and this one I absolutely love. This chapter was called Autumnal Fare. That's what we're gonna do. Let me show you how to do it. So here we've got 12 sausages. So we've got a gorgeous Toulouse sausage here. Then we've got beautiful Cumberland sausages, so a classic. And then we've got some pork and apple sausages. So look, you can get any singular sausage you like. So just mix them up like that. And I'm gonna show you a really cool little hack. So you want 2 onions, give or take, 1 white, 1 red. I'm gonna peel them, and then I'm gonna cut them into quarters, just like that. And take them apart into little petals like that. And these will be perfect to cook in between the sausages. So get the onions, just put them to the side. And then I'm gonna show you how to load them up onto our skewers. Flatten out the sausage so they're all roughly around the same length, like that. And then I'm gonna do each one of these into 4. So this will serve 8 people. That's where we're gonna put our skewers. So we're gonna roast it as one thing. And then once it's cooked, we can cut through it. So I'm just using regular kebab skewers like that. And then what you can do is just put the skewer through the sausage, through the onion, then through the next sausage. Then I'm gonna pick up the opposite, little white like that. And I'm just gonna keep loading it. Doesn't really matter what order you do it. We get the second one, let's go again. Basically, like loading up a normal kebab, and then do exactly the same with the other one. So, I like what we've done. Give it a little drizzle of olive oil. What we're gonna do now is roast this for about 20 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit, until golden and delicious and cooked through. Now, next, beautiful red Leicester mash. So here I've got 1.5 kilos of lovely Maris Piper potatoes that I've peeled and cooked for about 12-13 minutes until nice and cooked. Once you've drained them, just let them steam for a little bit, like that. Okay, so I'm gonna use this hot pot to start melting my butter. I'm gonna use a nice knob of butter into the pan, like that. And then I'm gonna add these cooked potatoes like this, and while it's nice and hot, I'll add a little swig of milk. I'm using red Leicester. I'll cut the cheese in half and remove that little bit of skin. You can get about 130 or so grams of the grated cheese in there. That'll give it an amazing texture, ooziness, seasoning. Just look at that, look at the color. Now, we're just gonna mash it up, and you can kind of keep it sort of smashed and a little bit more rustic, or just keep going if you want it silky smooth and shiny. So mash is done, sausages are cooking. Here I've made some lovely, simple, humble onion gravy. Just get a load of onions, slice them up, salt, pepper, in a pan with some olive oil, sweat them off for about 10-15 minutes until they're soft. Then I go in with some vinegar, just to give it a sort of twang. You can add a little herb if you want. And then I add a blackberry or blackcurrant jam, just to give a sweetness and a color, and then a little flour and stock. So, next, let's check the sausages. They've had about 25 minutes. They should be looking good. To make this perfect, then a little kiss of honey on the top will glaze these beautiful sausages. So I would just pop that back in the oven for a minute, and then let's serve up. I'll serve this on a nice board. The whole point of having a flatbread or a tortilla is that it's handheld. If you're inside and you've got a gas hob, literally put it on like that and give it 5 seconds, turn it. You want to lightly heat it up and char it. So there we go. I've got my little flatbread there. I like to put the lovely mash on the top like that and just kind of push it around. Let's get that amazing sausage kebab out. Look at that. Just that little last minute, it's worth it, I promise you. Look at that. Oh! So we can take our knife now and cut in between the little kebabs like that. Absolutely gorgeous. And then I'll come along with just a little bit of that onion gravy and then our little bit of slaw here. Come on. Right, finger on the last sausage, pull out the kebab, right? Then Just fold up this beautiful package. Oh, find a little quiet corner. Make sure no one's around. Go away, everyone. It's kind of like amazing, delicious, filthy. It feels naughty, but it's nice. Oh, it's got stodgy, it's got crispy bits, crunchy bits. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please enjoy the book, get cooking. I've got to eat this and then clear up.